A lot of rappers have had smoke for Drake because of his relationship with their women, but what if I told you that Ludacris once gave Drake a taste of his own medicine by sleeping with a girl that Drake was dating?
You act as if Ludacris just came and took your hoe, nigga.
Once Take Care turned Drake into hip-hop's new golden boy, several OGs started circling around him like sharks. We saw artists like Common, Pusha T, DMX, and even Ludacris all take shots at Drake. Some of these guys were looking at him like he was an easy target. In the case of Ludacris, there doesn't seem to be any real history here. The two had never collaborated, never publicly traded words, and barely even crossed paths. In fact, the only thing that I could find was back in 2009 when Luda went in over Drake's Best I Ever Had beat. Another thing they had in common was they both wrote for Dr. Dre's Detox, but it was at different times. However, in 2011, these two would clash, and it all really started with this Ludacris track.
Coming down the street like a parade, Macy's.
You see, the flow that Ludacris is using here acted as the catalyst for his beef with Drake. Basically, for this flow, you have a setup, followed by a pause, and then a punchline. Like this.
I fill her up, balloons.
What's the dirt be reaching in his videos? Yoga mat. And Ludacris wasn't alone when it came to this flow, as Drake used it on his track Forever just 6 months prior.
She insists she got more class, we know.
And really it was after Drake used it on that track where many rappers jumped on the trend. Nicki was doing it.
And I just be coming off the top as bestest.
Wayne was doing it.
New Orleans, nigga. I get super dumb.
Ludacris, like a bunch of people were doing it. And at first, Drake was credited by many for creating this flow and trend. However, it was really Big Sean who sparked this style, and that was with Super Duper Flow.
Used to the bottom, scuba, till I am the king of my castle, Cooper, realest nigga ever, Kunta, you niggas ain't shit, pissed.
While Drake used that flow sparingly on Forever, Big Sean did it first, and he used the flow for an entire song. The entire track follows that flow the whole way through.
And I'm expected to blow Lindsay.
And it was during an all hip-hop interview where Drake not only gave Big Sean credit, but also called Ludacris out in the process. That flow has been killed by too many rappers, and I never want to use that flow again in my life. To be honest, that flow, you could trace it back to Big Sean. That's the first guy I heard utilize that flow throughout the duration of a verse. I'll give him that credit. I think Kanye got it from him. Me and Wayne found a dope way to do it. I don't want to sound cocky, but the best way it's been used was on Forever. Then a bunch of rappers started doing it and using the most terrible references in the world. I don't want to offend somebody. I hate that rappers pick that flow up. I wish they had left it for people that know how to use it. They'll go like, it's a parade, Macy's. So what Drake did there is he recited a direct line from Ludacris, right? Which is, this is a direct insult.
Coming down the street like a parade, Macy's.
With that said, Big Sean was hyped that Drake gave him his props, and he mentioned this over the course of several interviews at the time.
Man, Drake is my homie, man. Especially he gave me a lot of credit because, I came up with the rhyme scheme a lot of people thought he came up with. I call it the super duper flow. But it's the flow. He kind of made it more popular on that song Forever with him, Wayne, and Drake. It was kind of the one-word punchline.
Man, Drake is my homie. He just shouted me out a few days ago. It was tight that he gave me credit for that. It was tight that he was a real G to do that.
However, during one of his interviews, Big Sean made the claim that he invented that flow.
It's tight, man, because that went to show me how far I could go, man. It's like I changed the rap game. I ain't even have an album out. So I'm like, man, I can. At one point, I'm going to keep changing the game, man. It is what it is.
So now it seems like these two younger MCs are just kind of being disrespectful, and Ludacris feels disrespected. And from Ludacris's perspective, his next move made perfect sense. It was time to send a few shots at both Big Sean and Drake. However, he only decided to do so 17 months later when he was dropping a new project. He started teasing in interviews that he had a diss track coming.
In one of these albums, are you really gonna get at the music game and the artists in it?
Oh, hell yeah. We definitely gonna do that.
Heard there's a track that exists. There's a track in existence that Luda's getting at people in the game.
I'm only responding to what the hell people have said about me. Believe that. I don't never start it. but God damn it, believe I will finish.
And just as promised, shortly after that interview, Ludacris dropped his track Bada Boom, taking aim at both Big Sean and Drake.
All right, so I just got this coffee for free, and it was all from playing games on my phone last night.
And I'm giving you $10 for free just to try this, so please pay attention. Last night, instead of mindlessly scrolling on my phone, I decided to play some games on Free Cash. And I made real money doing this. If you haven't seen it, Free Cash is basically a platform where you can do tasks, play games, complete offers, answer surveys, and you earn coins, which you can turn into rewards.
And look, I know when you hear the word free, you think there's some sort of catch, and at first I thought the same thing.
However, I got a lot more confidence when I saw that Free Cash has very strong reviews on Trustpilot with a 4.7 star rating and a lot of positive feedback. So I decided to really test Free Cash for myself. And I was pleasantly surprised. I tried a couple different games like Bingo Blitz, Solitaire Riches, and Bus Craze, and there are a lot of different options for games. It's very simple to navigate, and the payout process is fast and easy to follow. It is very easy, and you can see right here on the screen that I did withdraw my money and it worked. You can start withdrawing your money at $25, and to receive the payment, all I had to do was provide a photo of my face and upload my identification. It was extremely fast and easy to do this, and as you could see, you can cash out with a few different options like PayPal, Google Pay, many different gift cards, prepaid visas, and even more. I linked my PayPal account to take my money out, and it literally took like a couple minutes to get it. So if you want to try Free Cash for yourself, use my sign up link or scan the QR code on the screen. You'll also get a $10 sign up bonus when you use my link or QR code. The link is at the very top of my description, and I'll also have it pinned in the comments as well. Make sure you check it out.
Counterfeit rappers say I'm stealing they flows, but I can't steal what you never made up, bitch.
An obvious shot at Drake and Big Sean, and he's actually right about everything he's saying, but I'll get to that in a minute.
Y'all some duplicate rap cloning niggas. I manufacture you hoes. Put on your makeup, bitch.
He's not saying any names, but everybody knows who he's talking about.
It may not like the way I used it, but you know you ain't invented, boy.
In this line, Ludacris targets both Drake and Big Sean directly. First, he brings up Drake's interview of when Drake said he didn't like the way Ludacris used the flow, and you'll also notice he uses the word boy, which was a known Big Sean ad-lib. Here we see a reference to Big Sean's Finally Famous.
That's disrespecting pioneers in the game. Fuck the fame.
And this is a pretty smart angle for Luda to play, right? Because nobody wants to see a couple newcomers dissing legends like Luda. Like, it's not gonna fly. Now, even though Luda never said Drake or Big Sean's name, everybody knew exactly who he was talking about, and honestly, in this situation, he had a very good point. Ludacris simply used a flow that half the game was already using, yet Drake still seemed to single him out. On top of that, Luda was absolutely right. Neither Drake or Big Sean invented that style. His message to both of them was pretty simple: do your homework. And he was 100% correct.
Do your research before you make a claim so bogus that
Lots of people use that flow, like Cam has used it.
And hope is hopeless, disappear in the air, hocus pocus.
We've seen Doom use it.
Look like a black Wookiee when he let his beard grow weirdo.
Hov has used it.
The dead presidential candidate. We all my niggas with the rubber grips or shots.
And knowing that Drake is a massive hip-hop head, I believe he knew damn well that this flow was used many times in the past, so there had to be another reason for why he called Luda out like this. And we won't find out until years later that this was all over a woman. After Ludacris dropped his diss, Big Sean was asked in an interview, and he gave nothing but respect.
I ain't got no issues with Luda, man. Why would I didn't even know he cared that much for a year to be still thinking about that, what I said in the interview. It's not like I was like, Luda's weak. I think Luda is a legend. I think he one of the best. I ain't gonna front.
He also cleared up the fact that he didn't claim that he invented the flow. He was saying that he kind of brought it back and made it popular in that era.
I'm pretty sure it was done before that, but I'm just saying where it came from now. We talking about now where it came from. That's just how it was. I'm not trying to debate, I was the first to do this, man, ever. I'm just saying that's just where it was between us.
And the moment this interview dropped, Drake took to Twitter that exact same night and he said, Big Sean, you already know. I wish they'd let the young dudes live. Respect always. And Drake said this because just 2 weeks prior, Common had dissed him. And now Luda's firing on them all in the same month.
Man, y'all niggas, man, you soft mother. Some hoe ass niggas singing all around here, man. You ain't no motherfucking Frank Sinatra, little bitch.
And I gotta admit, as much of a legend that Common is, it was really that Drake diss that got him more virality than he had been used to. The Drake diss really seemed to work great for him, and I wouldn't be surprised if Ludacris took notice and decided to follow suit. It took Luda 17 months to respond. I'm just using common sense, no pun intended. And just a few months later, Drake seemed to look at it in the exact same way. During an interview with Vibe magazine, he was asked about the Luda diss, and he said, "That's a case of somebody trying to use my marketing money to get things going for themselves again. That didn't affect my day, my month, my year. I didn't take any of that seriously." I do think he deserved, Drake deserved to be called out for what he did. Anyways, in no time flat, Luda seemingly started planting little subliminals that only Drake would pick up on. Like on his feature with DJ Drama.
Never see me planking unless I'm on your girlfriend.
And Luda kept his foot on the gas. He hopped on a remix for Future's Same Damn Time, and he continued to turn up.
My flows is rubbing off just like the fingernail polish. Rubber ain't got no swag, you need to kill your fucking style if they ain't like piranha.
So we get more of the same subject matter that we got in his first diss. He's calling Big Sean and Drake out, claiming that they have no real style of their own.
See, Luda never start shit. I'm always on my grind, but I'll respond to 3 rappers same damn time.
Again, a lot of these connections were totally overlooked over the years, but in the last line, Luda makes it really obvious that he's dissing 3 specific people, and that is Big Sean, Drake, and he was also beefing with Sean J at the time. Just a week ago, we got the very sad news that Sean J has stage 4 cancer, so massive prayers to him and his family. Now at this point, Drake had enough. He was becoming somewhat of a punching bag and marketing ploy for these legacy artists, and he famously fired back at Common on Stay Schemin'. And the more I look at this track and everything that was going on at the time, I don't think a lot of these lines are just for Common.
It bothers me when the gods get to acting like the broads.
Right off rip, Drake says it bothers him when the gods get to acting like the broads, and multiple legends were sending shots at him during this time, not just Common.
Back when if a nigga reached, it was for the weapon. Nowadays, niggas reach just to set a record.
With this one, I already showed you how both Common and Ludacris used the Drake diss as a way of marketing their projects, and they both did it around the same time in the same month. He's talking about both of them. And I vividly remember when Drake dropped Stay Schemin' because not only was I proud of him, but a lot of people in the culture were really impressed. People didn't think this kid really had it in him, and that feature is still looked at as one of the best features of 2012. And he wasn't done. On Meek Mill's Amen, Drake seemingly sent another shot at both Ludacris and Common.
Talking about these other rappers getting noticed, even getting no.
Now that line could be directed at Pusha T as well, because all these guys were firing on him around the same time. I think he's talking to all of them. At this point, it was pretty clear that something had changed in Drake. He was not about to be a pushover, and he started confidently talking his shit.
I hope you pussy niggas hate never make a nickel. The only thing you got is some years on me, man. Fuck you and your time different.
So again, we've got more bars directed at older MCs, and Ludacris would eventually fire back, and that was on his track Madfo.
Any car that you got, I've already drove. Any chick that you hit, my nigga, I've already hoed.
Now at the time, we didn't know that this was a direct shot, but Drake did. Another thing to note about this track is that Luda seemingly recruited a bunch of people that hated Drake. We had Swizz Beatz, Chris Brown, Pusha T, and Ludacris all on the same record, and Pusha actually dissed Wayne directly on this track.
Crack swag on ever since you came from prison. Got you tweeting all stupid. Is you skating? Is you dissing?
Now, with that said, when Luda was asked about this, he claimed that it wasn't for Drake. That's just how hip-hop is, man. You write to what you feel, so make no assumptions. Just listen to the track. You can make your own assumptions, but I definitely would never make assumptions just based off of who's featured on a record. I'm not talking to anyone specific. Look, if this was me back when I was a kid, when I thought like these rappers were superheroes, I would believe it, but like I feel like none of these rappers in interviews tell the truth. Like they'll send very obvious shots and then they'll always deny. Like they'll say this like it's not specific for anyone. Shortly after that, it was Drake's turn to answer some questions, and during an interview, he was asked what he thought about all these legacy rappers sending shots. You notice they don't ever criticize the music itself though? I'm okay with that. But this is where he really turns up. Around a year later, Drake dropped a 3-pack, and in that we got 6 God, How About Now, and Heat of the Moment. And on 2 of these tracks, he disses Ludacris. On How About Now, we actually got a glimpse of what the real issue might just be, but at the time it was very much hidden and nobody fully understood the line except for Ludacris.
I used to always try and bring a CD to my new shit. You be like, who's this? I be like, me, girl. Be like, oh, word, true shit. Then ask if we could listen to Ludacris. Them car rides made me feel like I was losing it.
In the line, Drake reminisces about a time where he was trying to get on. He talks about a girl he was dating and how he would try to get her to listen to his music and she would want to play Ludacris. At the time, we had no idea the depth and truth to this line. And on this 3-pack, Drake sent a far more obvious shot at Luda, and that was on 6 God.
I'm about to say a true thing. You was popping back when I should wore you changed. Goddamn, you changed.
A lot of people at the time claimed these lines were for Chris Brown, and even Genius still has this annotated as such, but I knew immediately who he was talking to, and it was Ludacris. Drake is referring to one of Luda's biggest features ever, a song that dominated the 2000s and still gets played today. Full-blown smash.
Take that, rewind it back. Usher got the voice to make your booty go.
And this was indeed the era of Usher's U-Chain. In fact, you can see in the music video itself that Usher is wearing it. And Drake was right. Back then, I mean, Ludacris was on fire during that time, right? But while 6 God was written during the 2014, 2015, not so much. A few months later, Luda responded on his track Call Ya Bluff.
Anything you wanna do, I'm ready to do it, my nigga, just say so. I sold over 20 million records, I could really give a fuck about retail. Age ain't nothing but a number, Luda rapping like he just turned 24. Any rapper wanna forget who I am, every now and then I seem I gotta let him go. Then you see me, nigga, say it like you said it in the booth.
These are obvious shots at Drake, right? Like talking about his age and talking about who he used to be. However, the next line is another direct subliminal for Drake, and this is a shot that Ludacris continues to bring up.
You act as if Ludacris just came and took your hoe, nigga.
All right, so who is he talking about? Who is this woman that keeps coming up over and over again? Well, Ludacris let the cat out the bag in an interview on The Breakfast Club and revealed he slept with Drake's ex-girlfriend.
How did you feel when he said your name in that How About Now? When he said he was playing his music for the chick, and the chick was like, oh, turn that off. You listen to Ludacris?
Yeah, you know what?
I don't know.
Nah, you know what's crazy is I think it's a little bit of a true story behind that. His girl at the time, with all due respect, was probably doing a little bit more than that. But it's a true story, and I think that's why he said that. And you know, people can respect this man for being very honest on record.
Yeah, he's very open.
Yeah, and it was a chick in Toronto, and at the time I didn't even know that she was, you know, I guess his. I didn't know what was going on.
Drake's girl, man, my goodness.
So with this information, it turns out a lot of these subliminals from Ludacris were only understood by Drake during the time, including the line where he even mentioned Luda when trying to show his music to his girl. With this new information, the line has a lot more depth. Drake is reminding the woman of the superstar that he's become. It seems as though she didn't really see the vision or even see him in a position like Ludacris. Now all these years have passed, Luda's commercial career fizzled out, and Drake is now that guy. It's speculated the woman's name is Candace Henry. After Ludacris revealed this info, things seemed to totally die down. I couldn't find any more obvious shots, and in 2017 at the BBMAs, Drake gave Ludacris his flowers publicly.
I want to say, Ludacris, I know we haven't always seen eye to eye, but I've always been a big fan of yours, man. I got a lot of love for you. I want to let you know that face to face while I'm still here.
Which was a mature way to end the beef. It wouldn't be until 2024 during Drake's 38th birthday party where Drake did reveal that Luda really did date his first girlfriend.
I used to beef with Ludacris because he dated my first girlfriend, I swear to God. I used to have beef with Ludacris. Shout out to Ludacris though. Shout out to Packers.
By the way, guys, don't forget about free cash. Try and get a few extra bucks for yourself. QR code right there. In the description, you can follow that link. You're going to get $10 bonus free just to try it.